emergency down here. Website has no marketing, no email marketing, no social media marketing of any kind, and it's not even ranking on the first page of Google. Over. 10-4, Mighty Mike and his marketing SWAT team are en route. Over.
You are listening to Business Marketing 911 with Mighty Mike and his marketing SWAT team. So buckle up and get ready because the episode is beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. What's up, you guys? We're here, and I'm so excited. We got another awesome episode. I am joined by Kyle Hammer. He is an entrepreneur, mentor, husband, and dad. His passion is helping others succeed. He founded Hammer Marketing Group, and he is the host of the Summit podcast. I'm so excited to have him on. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Mighty Mike. Thanks for having me in today.
Now, I'm saying Hammer, but now I'm realizing that I did not confirm that with you. Is it Hammer?
Look, you can call me anything you want. Just don't call me late for dinner.
So it's Hammer. Okay. But Hammer sounds so cool, man. I got it.
It is. You know, it's. I told somebody a long time ago I was going to make my tag too legit to quit.
Oh yeah. Sometimes.
That's right.
Yeah. That's good. Well, that's, I think most of the people who are watching probably got the reference, we're not on Instagram. So we don't, or TikTok yet. So we don't have to worry about that. So you guys, if you guys are watching this today, this is kind of one of our special late night specials. I usually do this every day, 9 o'clock. Every Wednesday, 9 o'clock in the morning, 911 in the morning. Hence the name of the show, Business Marketing 911. But every once in a while, we have a special little treat. And today, Kyle is an expert at helping you figure out your systems. Kyle, I got to tell you, this is one of those things that I get frustrated with because this whole cycle of marketing, once you get it, it's like, whoa, like, okay, I have an email marketing list and if someone orders online from me, I add them to my list. I follow up with them. I get a review on Google. I create content on my blog and I stay in touch with them. And it just becomes this like engine that just keeps business coming in and keeps customers happy and then generates new customers through referrals and all this stuff, right? And so the problem is putting that into words that someone who doesn't care at all about marketing. And so I'm like talking to my kindred spirit here, man. Tell me.
First of all, I think the simplest way to explain it is people come to your website, right? And they're like, oh, great, I have this great brochure, but that brochure is supposed to turn into money. And if you don't have everything configured or set up correct after you hit submit, doesn't matter how great your website is, doesn't matter how great your brochure is, you're going to be living a nightmare of trying to figure out how to turn that beautiful brochure into big dollars in your bank.
I like that. So like a website's like a brochure. Someone comes on you, happens upon your brochure, like you're at a conference, you pick it up. How is it going to make you money? And so that's kind of what you specialize in. But let's back it up for a second and talk a little bit about how you even got started in marketing.
Oh, man. Let's get in the Peabody and Sherman Wayback Machine. So I'm a sales guy turned marketer. And what I tell people is, for me, I got my start in marketing because I was working for a startup. The CRM that I was given had 9,000 names and contacts in a single state. And they said, here's your phone. I was like, I know how to use this, but that seems like a lot of work. So as a lazy sales guy, I had to figure out how to do marketing. And so I built my first campaign in, I want to say 2004. We were using Salesforce CRM. And then I just became a voracious reader of all things technological because it was so painful. I was getting up at 5 a.m. and printing off letters. And then I would send them and I would wait and I would make a phone call after 3 days. And then I would go to the, after I made my phone call, I would send them an email. It's like I had this whole systematized, outbound strategy because I was like, I don't want to call 9,000 people they don't know I'm calling. So I came up with a gimmick, and I would call people and I would say, "Hey, did you get my elephant?" If you listen to my podcast, I'll talk about it from time to time, but the elephant was a flyer. And so I would mail people a flyer that had an elephant, had guys working on an elephant. It was funny. Like if you picked it up, you'd laugh. And it was a great opener. Well, that was my gateway drug, if you will, into marketing. And so I've been doing that for the last 16 years, finding ways to have engaging conversations with folks using sales in marketing.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I like the word you said, gimmick. I think a lot of people think of the word gimmick, or scheme is another word, right? And it has a negative connotation. But the truth is, everyone's got a gimmick. Like I have a gimmick for an idea for a cheeseburger joint. Mighty Burger. Nobody better steal this, by the way. Everyone's got an idea, right? Mighty Burger, where it's like, if you can beat the machine in an arm wrestling match, you get a free burger, and make it like a casino where it's randomized. Some kind of gimmick like that, people are going to eat it up. You look at all these kind of places, like when McDonald's first came out, there was nothing like that. The gimmick was fast, yummy. Like there was no silverware. I mean, I love that movie. And so your gimmick here gives them something to talk about other than this random guy calling me during dinner, or in this case in the morning, I guess. And it gives you something to talk about. So take us into that for just a second, because that's really intriguing. So you call and you say, did you get my elephant, offer? Did you get my offer with the elephant on it?
Well, yeah. So the phone call was, for me, it was an integrated marketing approach, which I think today, people call account-based marketing, and they're thinking about ways to get past the gatekeeper, to get into companies. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was like, it's really simple. I sent you a letter, and I would get the gatekeeper on the phone and be like, "Hey, this is Kyle from company XYZ." And they go, "Well, does the person expecting you to call?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just hope they got my elephant." And the gatekeeper would be like, "You sent them an elephant?" I'm like, "Yeah, it came through the mail." Right. And so like, I was looking for creative ways to get into the voicemail, or to get past the receptionist. But when I would get people on the phone, they would say, "What are you calling about?" And then, I'd say, "Well, I'm this type of consultant, or I'm this type of salesperson, whatever. I do X, Y, and Z. However, I'm not calling to talk about me. I want to just make sure that you received my elephant." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And if they hadn't gotten it, they would start immediately. You could hear them rummaging in the office, right? It was all an inside sales job. So I could hear them rummaging. Like, "Oh, it came in a little envelope. It's got the red thing up." And I stamp, I put a little special stamp on it. Like, "It's looking like this. Did you file 13 it?" Like, "Well, file 13, what's that?" I'm like, "Threw it in the trash." I'm like, "I can't believe you threw my elephant in the trash." Like, everything about it was meant to be playful and show my personality. And if they had seen it, they'd immediately start laughing. They're like, "You know what? You're right. My training does stink." And you have to picture the visual was a visual of a guy, and I think he was artificially inseminating an elephant. So he had half of his body in like a Tyvek suit shoved in the backside of an elephant. There's one guy standing there with a hose looking super bored, and there's a dude looking at the camera like, "I cannot believe we have to do this again today." And it's the backside of an elephant. And so like the visual of it with with a little advertising or marketing is, "Does your training stink?" Well, when you look at that, the guy's half of his body's up the backside of an elephant. You can't help but chuckle if you have any personality at all. If people hung up on me or they told me to go away, they didn't get it. They were going to be my customer anyways. But it was a way to get conversations rolling, built around humor, which to me is always a really, really good way to build a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I really like that. The gimmick of having something to talk about. That's big. I think the thing is the work that it takes ahead of time to create that, and to give it the time, and then to plan it. And again, this is where it goes back to that engine. I mean, did you have some kind of a tool that told you like, "Hey, I mailed it out on this date, so I probably want to call after a few days"? Or?
Well, I think this is really where I got into marketing automation systems and process. At the time, it would have been Salesforce. So I would go in and create a campaign in Salesforce, and I would put my little list of the 300 people I sent letters to on Monday. And those 300 people that were in that list, like I had this is the day that they get a call. So I had follow-up tasks and items for me to do. I knew who was supposed to get emails and when they were supposed to go. And so as long as I did my part on the sales side, where marketing me sent out the email or sent out the letter, then sales guy me would call and follow up. If I didn't get through, or even if I got to a voicemail, then there was an email that followed up. And so all of that was systematized inside of Salesforce. And it just followed a really simple system, which was, if I think about what's important to me and I consistently focus on those folks, and I have these conversational pieces or have this automation, it's really hard for me to get lost in the process. It's really hard for me to not know what's going on, because I understand where I'm at. I understand where my customer's at. And ultimately, it led to a really big pipeline growth, because I began understanding how marketing could be used to really pull that growth lever and help sales drive up.
That's good. That's good. If you guys are getting some value right now, I want you to go down to the bottom there and I want you to smash the like button. The like button needs your attention. If you're on Twitter, I don't know why, but if you are, hit the little heart button. And of course, YouTube, guys, we're getting some major value. I'm pretty excited about today's episode. So Kyle, with your superpower in mind, we're going to review a website, and this website is it's not bad. You guys have seen a lot worse here on this show. We're going to kind of dive in and look at it, maybe look at some of the analytics behind it. But ultimately, the goal of the show is to teach you guys and help you guys learn how to optimize your own website, and then also learn from my guest and how to build your business and have better operational systems. And so, Kyle, you ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
All right, man. Let's share the screen. There we go. Let me remove some of this fancy stuff. All right. So On-Time Process Services here. These guys are a process server, kind of like a notary public. They deliver legal documents to people out in the field, and maybe do some other services too here, it looks like. Foreclosure sales services. I always like to look at the technical stuff, it looks like it's secure. I don't see a phone number here right away, but they do have a chat. It says offline. Let's see, contact us. Okay, so it's a little chat bot. What stands out to you right away here, Kyle?
What stands out to me is it's not evident what you are, what you do. Now, On-Time Process Services, if I'm not somebody who knows what process services is, it's not evident to me, even in the search navigation, what I'm supposed to do. Like, I look at it like, oh, so you want my money, or you want me to request something for you, but for what?
Okay. All right. So finding out exactly what it is that they do. If you don't know what a process server is, I don't know. Yeah, that would be, I guess you'd have to be told that, you happened upon this website, maybe put legal services, and then you found these guys. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you hover over home, to me, in the home drop down here, like these are all the things that I'm looking for readily available, right? So it's almost like, if you're doing on-time process services, some visual way to see, oh, you handle document recovering, document holding, landlord services, foreclosure, like just a really fast way for me to skim and go, oh, okay, yes, I'm at the right place, or no, I'm not.
So you would say, like, have these across the top maybe instead?
Across the top, or in the banner here where it's right above the video. Not necessarily your title, but in the video, like maybe there's a ribbon or there's something there that lets me know quickly, these are the things that we do.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think process serving, court filing, and document retrieval is probably their main services. And then these are a bunch of other services. But like you said, like if I typed in legal services and I found these guys, because I'm sure they rank for legal services in their area. I like that they have a courthouse here as Klamath County. But yeah, having something to cross, or even I've seen submenus, which are kind of nice. Like you have your main about and this kind of stuff. And then right here, instead of a drop-down submenu, you just have a static submenu that has all of your services listed across the bottom. That might be a good way to do that.
Well, and again, I think it kind of depends on what the goal is, right? Is the goal here just to inform, or is the goal really to drive somebody to engage them, call them, hire them?
That's important. Yeah, that's a good. So one thing I always like to see is the phone number up here somewhere. I think we're all kind of trained, especially on a service-based industry. We're trained to look for a phone number somewhere up here. Some people don't like that, right? Some people are your Amazon shopper types and they want to be able to order on the website. And then, okay. All right. So this is important, I guess, for the city. But if I don't see my city here, my one concern with the city's breakdown like this with the payment section is that what if I don't see my city? My city's near here, but it's called something different. You know, that little townships and stuff.
Mhm.
So that would be my concern with the payment page here. Let's see, Beaverton. Okay, they're using Square. Okay, so 75 is set. Okay, so they can pay. All right, that's not too bad. What do you think about that? Having a payment system for services, basically, you just want to get paid, right? Get your
Well, I think that if we've already chatted, this is great. But again, what's it relative to, right? It's like make a payment for a routine or a rush. Are all services the exact same? Like you've got your schedule over there, but are they all priced the same, or can I hire you without paying, or do I need to pay you? Like what's the focus?
What's included, right? Like,
That's
okay,
right.
rush services, what's included. I like that. These are good gaps that we're finding here because it's good that it's functional that I can order online. But like you said, what if I have 1,000 jobs? That's the other side because some of these clients are contracts, big contracts where it's like, look, I want to hire you, but I don't even have a credit card. I work for a freaking Fortune 500 lawyer that wants to send you 1,000 jobs. You know, I'm not going to pay you 70 whatever dollars. I want to send you 1,000 jobs. So then there's no phone number right away for me to call unless I scroll down. Unless I scroll down to here. And if I was on Google, just to remind everybody, Kyle, if I'm on Google and I clicked here, I saw 4 or 5 other sites I could have clicked on. So if I don't see what I'm looking for right away, I'm going back to Google, right?
Right. Yep. 100%.
So, okay. And I feel like this text, this area needs to be like revamped a little bit, I think. And then this video. Okay, yeah, I've watched this video before. This is a pretty decent video. I guess maybe what would be a good idea is to do like a sub menu like we were talking about and get rid of this and bring this video up into up here, you know, so people click on it right away or scroll down to see more. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, I think one of the things that's so we talk about things that are good. I think one of the things that is good about the way that this site is built is the video does create enough of an interruption in your view that you're like, well, okay, well, I have to scroll down in order to see the rest of the video.
Right.
But there's not anything really compelling me to go further. And again, it depends on what the goal is. Is the goal of the page for me to just watch the video and fill out the contact us form? Or is it for me to watch the video and call you? You know,
Right.
What's relevant and readily available here. We want those elements for what somebody's looking at to be right there.
Mhm.
Don't make me think, don't make me scroll, give it to me right now, or create a reason visually with some sort of information interruption or write text to keep me moving through the page.
I like that. And so one thing you could do here right away, I would say, is let's just a couple of design things. So, like you were saying, have this video up here as an interruption. And as soon as I scroll down, I see what he's doing here. Like I understand what he's doing here. He's like, if I'm the customer and I'm in Oregon, I want to e-file, I'm going to find what you know what I mean? I'm going to find it. So I don't completely disagree with how he sets this up here because I have a keyword in my mind, right? Like I'm at the courthouse. They tell me I need to hire a process server. So I come here and I click here. The question is, and I think that is so powerful, is where does this take me? This should take me, and tell me if you disagree here, Kyle, because I want to provide as much value as we can here. If I click here, it needs to be essentially like a landing page that's gonna help me understand the service in full and what my options are.
No, I completely agree, and I think that when you do go here, there's some great information, but again, if you look at just where the page break happens, like if you scroll back up, the page break, it looks like that's the end. Like the page looks like it's done at the end of must have insurance. And so if you want me to call, if you want me to reach out, it needs to be broken up so that you there's a reason for me to continue reading, to continue consuming the page, whether that's done via style and layout, or that's done via how the text is served.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
want to make it so that it's really easy for somebody to get a hold of you, or
Yeah. And this login sign up thing, I know a lot of companies that do this too. Just have right here next to it a phone number, or make the phone number right here. Cause see, contact us looks like it's right here, but it's hidden. And I had to go like looking, meet the team, and then contact on time, Okay. So, all right.
and the question here is, again, from an intent standpoint, is the ask for, is your customer thinking, or your prospect thinking, hire you, find out more information? Like, what is the next step in their journey? And are you making it easy for them to take that? From your perspective, having that phone up there, I think is 100% call today. Like, and maybe it's not call today, but it's, what is that common question? Have questions. We always pick up the phone. What's your gimmick or your shtick to make sure that somebody comes through? But then also, if you want people just to fill it out as a form, kind of like the contact us, or you want the leads of, what is it? Because if you go to the request form page, I spent a little bit of time here just quickly looking at the request form page. There's so much here that it's like, well, do you need all of this information? Are we supposed to have all this information? What's the, is it really an e-commerce environment, or do we need to have a conversation first? If you don't need to have a conversation, then this is great. But if not, maybe this is too much.
Yeah. So I could tell you right now that okay, yeah. So I can tell you right now that the goal here is for them to get the order. This is kind of like a delivery service, kind of like a courier service.
Right.
So I think the request form is okay. Now you could probably cut down on some of this. Like the form I create, it changes. It's an interactive form. So when they put in there, they have to check a little bubble that says, "Are you an attorney?" Or "Are you pro per?" The different types of things. And if the case has already been filed, then it'll ask for this information, right? But if it hasn't been filed, why ask for this information? The information will be on the case, the documents. So yeah. So the form itself, request form, I think this should be a part of your process. So like a funnel. Like, so if we come back over here and Kyle, to what you were saying, what the intent is. So if the intent is that I'm gonna scroll down, like, let's get rid of this here, let's they probably what, I'm almost positive he did this because H1 title tags, if I'm not mistaken. I think because this is one of the things they want to see. They want to see in your H1 title tags for SEO, these terms, so he can rank for them. But you can still accomplish that without making it visible right here, front and center, taking all this real estate. So what I was getting to is, if this request form, I think, should be a part of a funnel. Like, so when I click right here, it does tell me a lot of information, or too much text in my opinion, but it shows me a lot of information, but then it just dies out right here. Like, okay, so now I already know I need a process server. So now what do I do? Go to the request form? I just think that there's too many options, too many ways to try to order, that it's so confusing. I would have to call.
Well, I'm right there with you. I think one of the other things to use is what I would call common sense language. Request form to me means something different than maybe it does for an attorney or somebody that would order form, or hire us today, request service, things that would be, oh, I understand what the intent is based on just the naming, so that somebody clicks on it, that's in their mind, that's the logical next step.
Yeah, that's good. And I think the mixed branding, there's some mixed messaging here too. Is Hardball Process Service, is that the name of this company, or is it On Time Process Service? That would be a something I would wonder as well. So, okay. All right. We're getting some good stuff. So just to be completely constructive, guys, that's the goal here. We're trying to help out. So, if we move this video up, maybe even make it a little larger, maybe even make it take the No, this is too big of an area for that, but I like the video. I would change the video to match more of the branding. All this green stuff, I'd make it match the logo a little bit more if that's your brand. And see, and then I'd have all these options right here where people can click. And if I click here, it should take me through a process of learning a little bit, just enough, like how much you charge, where you're at, and are you in credibility, like association memberships. I mean, I happen to know that this guy's the president of the Oregon Association. Where's that at? Right? Like he's the president.
That's a great question. I don't see any. So the way that I've always been taught to look at websites is there something here that's for value of interruption? Did you catch my attention? Then did you educate me? So did I learn what I needed to do? Is there some sort of offer or reason to take the next step, something that's compelling? And then ultimately you have to close the deal. But if you just think about it from an interruption and an engagement, all right, so you got me on the site, I'm here, I read the ad on Google, or I saw the listing on Google, and I come here. In that engagement, I have to find what I'm looking for, and in that education, I have to check the boxes of my reason to believe. And again, I can tell that this is a small business. I can tell that they probably serve quite a few different folks, and so maybe people are they've built a brand. But if I was doing this for the first time and you didn't know me, if you didn't know that I was the president of the association, it's not readily apparent to me why I would choose you over somebody else. I've not been educated as to why I would believe that your service is better than another service. So some of those elements here, and then what's the offer? Is the offer log in, sign up? Is it contact us? Is it make a phone call? Like, make it really, really clear for somebody to take the next step in engaging this particular company.
Yeah, that's good. So, I mean, just to be completely fair and transparent, they do have, as I scroll down here, they do have some reviews that show up, and they do have, the team here. This is Gary, he's the owner. They might mention that he's the president somewhere in here. I don't know. It's just a lot of text. If I'm trying to hire you to do a simple service, I'm not going to read through all of that. And here's the Oregon Association with, just make it a white background, people. Make it a white background. Put these on a white. That's the simplest way to fix this here. It just doesn't look good over this. What do you call it? This background. It doesn't look good over that. And then we've gotten the same information a couple times. This kind of stuff up here was up here as well. And so I think the best way to, maybe that was for SEO. I don't know. But what I would do is I'd move this around a little bit. I'd move the video up, make it a little more simple. So as I scroll, I get those three most important elements: price, location, and credibility. And so I do know the location, Klamath Falls, but they cover a whole bunch of other areas. So maybe have those areas right away if you want to do it that way. And when I click on that area, it'll take me to, somewhere where I know how much you charge and what services are offered in that area. Because they probably don't offer all these services in all of the areas either.
That's probably very true. The other thing, I was looking at the Google reviews as you cruised past it. There's some validity in 57 people having reviewed your service on Google. That's non-trivial for small businesses. So leveraging that credibility for when somebody lands to say, hey, there's 70 other people that have used us. You don't have to worry about entering your credit card, or there's a way to leverage that maybe higher up in the page, so that you're building more confidence as people are going through and looking at the services based on delivery or service area.
That's good. Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, getting that credibility right away is powerful. And a lot of times that's the reason why people click on your link in the beginning to begin with. But I will say, when it comes to automation, I'm a huge fan of automation. My email, is at mightyautomation.com. That's my thing, right? But sometimes automation is bad. And this is a great example of automation not working for you. See this Yelp review, and Yelp is really bad about this. You'll get the one guy, he's got 2 Yelp reviews, and one of them is a 1-star. And sorry, Gary, I'm not trying to highlight your, your 1-star, but the point is everyone's going to get a 1-star review at some point. It's just how it is. And in this case, he's got some kind of a tool that automates posting it on his website. And so now, on the most premier area where it's only what he has to say about his own business, and we get the first review that I see is a 1-star. Remove Yelp. Just get rid of Yelp on there.
That'd be well, the other thing, just reading the review here, it looks like the person that's upset was somebody who got served by the team, right? So
you're not supposed to be happy in this case.
No, you may not. They may not be like. This might actually help Gary and his team with this. Like, look, we get it. We get the job done. Look, it's so much so that Gabriel, whoever here was upset that we figured out how to get the job done. So back to that, are you on time? Or are you hardball? It doesn't really matter. It's in this case, maybe the Yelp review helps you. But to your point, if somebody's just scanning based on stars and doesn't take the time to read what the actual review is or what's going on, it can work against you. And there was a company that I talked to 100 years ago, and they were a dry cleaning service company, and they had their worst review on Google pasted as the only testimonial in their entire website. And it was like, what are you doing? And they're like, well, we feel like we're being honest, so we're putting our worst review up here so that people think we're being honest. And I was like, yeah, but that's the only review you have on there. So
oh my God.
You're absolutely right. When it comes to automation, you have to be careful with that stuff.
Yeah. So I think that they got a lot of really good stuff going for them. One of the things is when I work with somebody, one of the first things I look at is what do they have for ammunition? I'm working with this training school that trains security officers. They've been in business for 25 years. They got tons of YouTube videos of them doing the trainings with drone stuff. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. I'm like, oh, your website's going to be sweet. I'm like doing overlays with the videos of them doing the trainings with the security batons and stuff. Play to your strengths. In this case, he's got some really good reviews. He's got 57 reviews on Google. Let's take a little snippet, and you guys will get tired of me saying this, but just a chance to plug my website too here. Let's check this out. Watch. Let's go. Put this guy back up here for a second. Look at this. I mean, it's not hard to just go to your little bar down there, click snip, and then you can actually kind of highlight just the block that you want to take, and then just add it as an image on your website, and then that way you can, it's credible. You look at this, I know that this is from, Google, or I know this is from Facebook. It's recommended, so powerful.
It really is. The other thing, again, not to pile on to Gary and in his service, but you want to just do a final once over and look at all of the different items. If you go and you check out the blog, for example, having a couple articles isn't a bad thing. As a matter of fact, it's a good thing. It shows that you're investing in stuff. But when you're using a default article from your web service and your posting provider, which is article number 3.
Oh yeah.
It may not give you the impact that you want, right? Like it's be careful. Like I think the process server safety is a really good topic. It's relevant to what he's doing, but these other ones may not be as valuable to communicating what you do. If somebody's really trying to figure out what Gary and team do, if you're not going to use the blog, kill it. Like you don't have to have a blog, right? It's not a requirement.
Right. Just delete. He's got one good one on there. You're right about that. He's got a good one, and he actually, speaks about that at conferences and stuff. So this is a really valuable article that he can reference during his speeches. He can say, I wrote an article about it. Here it is. Go to my website. Give him some traffic. But these other ones, it says Wix right on it. And it's not good. It shows basically that you're cheap. Without being, not to be rude, but if I have a Wix site and it says Wix at the bottom, it means I didn't pay the $40, right? That's basically what it means. It means I didn't pay.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to pile on, but I guess it's the type of thing where if you're a small business, you're out here and you're watching this, don't feel like you're compelled to have a blog article or a blog on the site, especially if you're only going to have two or three. If you're going to have those things, I think the things that I would think about from on-time process services is what is it we do? What is our process? What do we charge? And I think to what Gary's writing here, the process server safety, like that's part of your process. So making sure that we're safe and the person you're serving is safe.
Yeah.
Those are really valuable things to your to the people that will hire you, whether it's a landlord or it's an attorney or the county. Those are really valuable things. They may not necessarily have to be a blog post. They might just be part of our process. And it may not have to be 500, 1,000 words. It may be 150 words on what is this thing. So even though a lot of people say, oh, SEO, you got to have this, you got to have it, you got to have the blog, you got to have these things. Think about who's coming to your site. Is somebody really coming to your site to learn about, how it works and what's going on? And if that's what you want to do, cool. If not, maybe you don't need it.
Yeah, I agree. It's better to not have it than to have it with 2 fake articles on it. Right. No, I love Gary. So, I could give him the business a little more than I would other people. He's a good guy. So, but we're trying to provide value to the max here. So, get rid of these 2 articles, fix the homepage so that I know right away. And I will say, one of the hard things is with any industry too, Kyle, is what happens is you set up your website and it's like 75% of the way there. So you throw 1,000 people at the website, and like this website, right? And you throw 1,000 people at it. 800 of them are going to figure it out. Maybe 700. They're going to figure it out. So as a business, you're doing pretty good. You're feeling good. Your business is good. But how good could it be? How good could you optimize it so that the things are just happening and business is, 100%.
Well, and I think one of the things that you call out here is and you were saying it, you were hammering it home early on, which is, okay, so I'm looking at this service. Well, do you offer this service in this area or not in that area? Those types of things. But as you talked about some of the design elements, what I see and what I read really do need to align. And the video that they have is really, really valuable. But if you go to landlord services, the page for landlord services here, you'll see that there's a video playing in the background that's of college kids. Looks like they're working on a project. Maybe I'm being a little bit cynical, but if I come to your site and I see landlord services and it's like IT shop and kids working on a project, like if that video doesn't really support that, I start to wonder, like, did you look at this with a critical eye? Like, were you really paying attention? The looping video in the background could be your home, right? You could have a very similar overlay of your text on the homepage with what the things are that you do with that beautiful video you have scrolling in the background. Like there's ways to do things to tell your story visually that makes it what I pass the common sense test, right? What I see, what I read, do I believe it, and do I have enough information to make a decision?
That's good. Yep. We got to cross that bridge. If we can't cross the bridge of trust, it's like, I know who you are. I know that you do this service. Now I'm trying to find out, does it fit my location and my price range? Then those should be easy, first of all. And then, are you the right guy for the job? Can I trust you? And the funny thing about it is a lot of people don't realize they accidentally accomplish this sometimes, right? Because they make the nice website, or maybe they pay someone to make a really beautiful website, and they never really know what they did was because they made such a nice, beautifully designed, laid out website that they got that trust piece and didn't even know it. Right? And do you find that in your marketing when you're doing stuff is like, well, of course they hired you. You look like a huge company. Your website is awesome.
Well, so there's that. And, with the stuff that I do, it's not only what the website shows, but it's that next step. So it's one thing with the work and stuff that you guys do to get people to the site to convert, to either pick up the phone, and the phone's ringing off the hook. This is great. But if the phone rings off the hook and it's all going to a Google voicemail where they have to press 1 or 2 to go sit in a queue, like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
Don't stop thinking about your customer's experience just because they did this one thing, or just because you have a beautiful website. Like, at any point you can lose that trust. You've got to think about it all the way through until they finally give you dollars. Once they've given you $1, right, that relationship changes. But everything up to the point in which they give you $1 is you showing them how important they are, how intentional they are, what you've thought about as it relates to their experience. So automated email responders, where does it go? Does it get routed to the owner? Does it get routed to the sales team? Does it get routed to somebody to just process the order? How long does it take? I mean, there's just, if you think about it from on-time process services, if I go here and I make a payment, if Gary and team don't get notified because they're on vacation, what happens to that person that did a rush service? They're going to have a really bad experience, right? It's going to end up being your 1-star Yelp review, but the page was amazing. Well, if you just modify it a little bit, where as soon as they fill it out, it goes to an inbox that everybody shares, or you change the experience, you have the ability to actually unlock yourself from being tied to the business all the time. If you set the appropriate expectations with a follow-up email, hey, thanks for filling out the contact us form, or thanks for requesting service. We are currently out delivering this morning. Your order will be delivered within whatever it is. Like, you have the ability to time box these things and communicate these things. That experience and trust goes exponentially further. You may do those things naturally, but your technology can do them effortlessly if you just are a bit more intentional in setting those processes up.
That's good. That's good. Well, we got a lot of value today in this this late night podcast episode here. If you guys, again, if you're getting value, smash the heart, the like button, all that good stuff. Share it with a friend. Gary here, I know he's going to watch. He's going to give me a hard time, but you know what? Hey, this is value. Kyle, you've been bringing the heat here, and I'm not letting you hold back, because I noticed you were trying to hold back a little bit. Good stuff. So Kyle, what is your parting piece of advice for these mighty website builders, business owners?
Think about the people that you like to do business with and what's most important to you. And when you look at your website, ask yourself if that's the type of website you would do business with. The extension of your brand, the extension of your company, the extension of how you do business is represented from the very first time somebody experiences you. I don't know, I'm not a brand guy in that it's all about art, paints, and colors. What I believe brand is an extension of who you are. And every time somebody interacts with something that's an extension of who you are, you have an opportunity to leave a positive or a negative taste in their mouth. And if you're doing it the way that you prefer, then it doesn't matter what Mighty Mike and I say, unless you have an outside force forcing you to change. We're just words on the air. But
Right.
if you're not experiencing what you want, or what you look at doesn't actually reflect who you are, then take the time and work with Mike, work with an expert, find somebody to help you communicate who you are in a way that's comfortable for you to do business. And when you do those things, you'll notice thing that's mystical to you. The interwebs don't bring you leads. You'll find that actually does bring you a lot of business, because it's just the digitized version of who you are today.
That's good. Yeah. Very eloquently said. And you know what? I want my my listeners, if you guys are on the podcast, my viewers, if you're on YouTube, and yeah, if you're listening to the podcast right now, go check out the YouTube channel, subscribe. We go live there. We go live all over the place automatically using StreamYard. If you're making comments and you're not getting them seen, or we don't put them up there for you, you have to actually go into StreamYard and tell StreamYard that You see, we can add them like that so that people can see them. You got to tell them who you are in order to show them. So, Kyle, you just been providing so much value today. How can we keep up with everything you got going on?
And the easiest way is to visit the website, and it's geared towards services. But if you go to hamermarketinggroup.com, you'll be able to see articles. We produce about 5 podcasts a week. Right now, it just happens to be a heavy month. So you could go to summit.hamermarketinggroup.com, and that'll take you to, your favorite channel to get engaged. Otherwise, the easiest way to find me is if you go to LinkedIn/Kyle Hamer, all one word. Shoot me a message, connect, pick on me. I'll answer anything. As you can tell, I'm not shy, and I'm not short on opinion, but it's not about what my goal is. It's about what your goal is. So
I love it. I love it. And you're like a kindred spirit in marketing and in the beard.
I was watching something. They said that they did a survey of women, and facial hair makes a man 70% sexier. So I'm going to go with it.
Hey, you know what? I definitely traded up here a few times. So since I've had the beard, so definitely probably some truth to that. So if only people could trade up their websites by having a nice beard. That
sounds to me like another service, right? The transformation, the big reveal. There's something there for you, Mike.
There's something there, and I'm definitely going to dive into it. But until then, guys, go check out the podcast. I always listen to my guests' podcasts. I try to read their books if they have a book, or listen to it on Audible. I love Audible. They're not a sponsor yet, but they could be. I love the fact that I can work out and listen to them. Listen to books and stuff. But anyway, I listened to your podcast about, still working during COVID, and you guys had a great conversation about, keeping your spirits up and just going after it. So definitely go check out the podcast, summit.hamermarketinggroup.com.
Yep. Summit.hamermarketinggroup.com. That's the easiest way to find it.
Yeah. And I went ahead and posted it in the comments. You guys can just click on it, go over to iTunes and check it out. But thank you so much for coming on, man. And let's stay in touch.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks for having me.
All right, you guys, comment, share this with a friend, and take some mighty action. Come on, Kyle. Do it with me. Oh, shoot, man. Kyle's a beast. All right, see you guys.